thought you would greatly appreciate him. His name is Christopher Alexander. Christopher, are you with us?
I sure am. How are you doing today, Martha?
I'm doing great, and I'm so excited about what's to come down the pike here in Louisiana. I am thrilled about the Louisiana Citizen Advocacy Group that you all put together, and that's already making headlines. And I'm not sure if you were able to meet this young lady, Patrice. She's on the line. She was there when your mother was given the award at the 2022 victory of the LA GOP Victory Conference. Patrice, are you familiar with the Alexander family?
No, I'm not.
Well, the two of you should say hello, and at some point in time, I'm going to get you all to meet because
I'd love to.
Christopher's
Martha,
father.
let me ask you
Go
this:
ahead.
was Patrice? Was
Yes.
were you honored? Did Tony Perkins give you your honor at the Victory Convention?
No, it was Miss Dorothy Wallace. I believe she had a red suit on, and she's the longest serving pregnancy center director in the country, in serving that position for 42 years. So that was
Wonderful,
Dorothy
because
Wallace.
I remember seeing you, but I didn't have a chance to meet you. But congratulations for all your good work that you do in Louisiana.
Well, thank you very much. We appreciate your support.
So, Christopher's father, tell us a little bit about your father and the pro-life movement in your family, Christopher.
Well, my parents started, well, my mom particularly started the first pregnancy referral center in Shreveport. But I think the first one in North Louisiana. And my mom was just very devoted to the unborn. And I can remember riding in her station wagon with me and my numerous brothers and sisters, and there would be often a young lady, riding in the front seat with my mom, being comforted by my mom and counseled by my mom, who was pregnant, and my mom was counseling her against abortion. And more often than not, the young lady would not have an abortion and would deliver the child and usually give the child up for adoption. And always remember that those young ladies were always so thankful for my mom that she had helped them to make the right decision. And my dad also was heavily involved in the pro-life movement in Louisiana for many years. And that's where we got it. And we just learned our respect for human life from our parents, and particularly how vulnerable the unborn are.
Patrice, thank you so much, Christopher. Patrice, we appreciate you so very much, and we thank you for what you're doing for the unborn and the fight that you are fighting. If you have any last comments.
And before you go away, Patrice, do you have a website where people can look you up?
Yes, sir, we do. It is www.apcclayette.org.
Let me read that back. It's apccclafayette.org, right?
That's right. Yes,
okay,
sir.
We'll put that on our website for people to contact you.
Yes, great. Thank you so much. Thank you for this opportunity. We appreciate it.
You are welcome, and the Lord bless you and your future, because it is very bright. Thank you so much. And I actually pulled up that prolifelouisiana.org website, and it says Roe is gone. Let's protect babies and support moms. And I love that. And I love that the truth about life is coming out now, and that you don't, even when it's concerning rape and incest, that baby wasn't chosen to, didn't choose to be brought into this life.
And the thing about it, Martha, is that the truth about life really, when you look at it from a scientific point of view, has been there for many, many years now. All people have to do is look. It is very, very clear that we are talking about a distinct human being from the very early stages of conception. And their ignorance of that fact, the pro-abortion ignorance of that fact, is not innocent ignorance. It's willful, blind ignorance, because they don't want to know the truth. Because if they knew the truth, if they knew what they were actually doing, then they would have to change course. So they don't really want to know.
No, they don't. And then, I have a dog in this fight because that's actually my testimony. That's my story. And, people don't know that about me. I keep that personal. But my mom claims that she was raped and that's how I was conceived. And so for 49 years, I didn't know who my biological father was. But then somehow the Lord ended up using someone and bringing him into my life. And turns out this man is the most amazing human being. And I can't sit there and judge him for something that happened, in 1969 when I wasn't there. I can't scream the things that my birth mom wants me to scream at him. And, I have forgiveness in my heart. And, my life matters. And so do the lives of my two children and my grandson. So that's one, my life, my two sons, and my grandson. That's four lives that came from whatever happened back then in that particular time, whether he did or he didn't. I'm not saying one way or another, but our lives do matter. And if she would have been successful in taking my life, and aborting it, then, it would be unfortunate.
Yeah. If a
yeah,
sparrow
very,
can't, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say that's a very interesting point because most people, when they talk about abortion, they consider only, they don't consider it generationally. They only consider the one life.
Yeah.
But you're right. If your mom had aborted you, not only are you not here, but your children, your grandchild are not here either.
Right.
It's so profound when you think about the implications of that act.
Right. And the things that God called each one of those lives to do, those things wouldn't have been completed. So the enemy would have won had he taken my life just because of that, So I thank God that, my life was, I was given life.
Oh, yeah. Well, if a sparrow can't fall to the ground without God knowing about it, do you think in case of rape or incest and a baby's conceived, he says, oh, no, I never saw that coming? No. God's got a plan for everything and everybody, including those that are produced by the horrifying circumstances. And somebody asked me one time, well, what if your daughter was raped and she got pregnant? What would you do? So, okay, you're saying my child suffers a violent attack and you think the proper response is to kill my grandchild? No, that's my grandchild. I don't care who the father is.
Yeah. My husband asked me that same question. And, I looked at him like, have you lost your mind?
Yeah.
So the statistics are, I think 74% of people, it's 74% people abort because it's an inconvenience.
Yeah.
Or 75% women abort because it's an inconvenience. 74% abort because they can't afford the baby or they think they can afford it. So it's always about them, not the life in the womb. It's about them not being able to be inconvenienced or they can't afford it. It's 1% that are raped and it's 0.05 that come from incest. So that doesn't even, it's not even an argument, but yet they use it.
In fact, my dad, the great Southern Baptist who wasn't Catholic. My mom was a devout Catholic. It was such an interesting union, those two. My dad was a Southern Baptist and not even a particularly good Southern Baptist. And my mother was a devout Roman Catholic, yet they came together and produced 12 children.
Wow.
And my dad used to say that exceptions make very bad law. And the rare exception of rape and incest, as you said, Martha, these pro-abortionists use that extreme unfortunate circumstance and paint with such a broad brush, and they use it to justify abortion in every instance. Now, I'm not for abortion, even in the case of rape and incest.
I'm not either.
However, a person could support abortion in the case of rape and incest, and still we would eliminate, as you said, the overwhelming majority of abortions in the country.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. So, well, I appreciate you. And we have you on because of Louisiana Citizen Advocacy Group. I just wanted to introduce you to Patrice. So tell us a little bit about what's going on.
Well, thank you for introducing me to Patrice. Well, what we're doing, our group is doing, is something that we haven't seen any other advocacy group in Louisiana do. And that is study very closely and very meticulously the actions that these Republican leaders take in the legislature, what they do and what they don't do to sabotage good conservative legislation. We followed it very, very closely, and we're compiling a list, and we're in the process of completing it. And we're calling these RINOs, we call these RINOs out by name. And they have had a disastrous effect on legislation in this last session. And let me give you an example, Martha. And this is so astounding to me that I can barely believe it's true. I had to go back and look at the video and look at the bill again to confirm that this is true. There was a Representative Bagley who brought House Continuing Resolution 3. I'll give you the thumbnail sketch of it. The LDH, Louisiana Department of Health, had proposed an administrative rule which to mandate the COVID vaccine in order for a kid to go to school. It was going to be put on the required immunization list. And if you don't have a vaccine if you don't have a vaccine, you don't get to go to school. And so that was the proposed rule. It went before the House Health Welfare Committee and was rejected 13-2 very wisely. No, you're not going to tell our children that they have to get an experimental COVID shot in order to be able to go to school.
Christopher, hold that thought. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back. This is Liberty or Lockdown.
I wanted to talk about Continuing Resolution 3 by Representative Bagley. The bottom line is the governor tried to force the hand of the legislature and go forward with that very ill-conceived rule from the LDH requiring students to get the COVID shot and any CDC recommended boosters in order to be able to go to school. So when he started doing that, Representative Bagley brought House Continuing Resolution 3. It passed out of the committee and out of the House, and then went to the Senate committee. And all it did was repeal the LDH rule. Boom, just knock it out of the water. It's not an issue anymore. You're not going to mandate this for our students. So it got to the Senate Health and Welfare Committee, and 2 Republicans killed it. It lost in a 4-3 vote. 2 Republicans killed it. If they had voted for it, it would have won 5-4, and our kids would not have to get the COVID vaccine in Louisiana to be able to go to school. Do you have any idea who those 2 Republican RINOs were who killed this very important bill?
Tell us their name.
Fred Mills out of Lafayette, who's on our list a lot, and who didn't vote. He was there. He was just too cowardly to vote. He was sitting right there and just didn't vote. And another one, Rogers Pope out of Livingston, who didn't even show up. He didn't even show up for this hearing, despite its importance. So it lost 4-3, and it would have won 5-4 if those 2 RINOs had done their job. And I'm telling you down there, Martha, Robert Malone testified at that hearing, who is an absolute genius when it comes to these vaccines. Jeff Landry testified very, very passionately in favor of HC3. Liz Murrell, who's the Solicitor General, whose own son was severely affected by the COVID vaccine, she provided her testimony along with numerous Louisiana citizens. It was a packed house down there. And these cowards, Republicans, could not get this out of Senate committee because of these 2 RINOs. And it is a shame, an absolute shame.
So do you think, I know Pope, he's just a straight up RINO. I mean, he's already sent in his letter so that they don't do the override session. I got that from Susie Labrie, which we actually have her on the line. But do you think we'll be able to go into an override session, or?
I heard earlier that Bodie White is very ill. He's a Republican, and I don't think he can be there. And so that takes us down. Susie would probably know this better than me, but I'm not optimistic, Martha.
I'm not either. Yeah.
I'm not optimistic about it, but I will tell you right now that Fred Mills is in bed with the pharmaceutical company. He is a pharmacist, and that's the reason why. And then Rogers Pope is I just think just a pure rhino, as you said.
Yeah.
But this is the kind of thing right here that disqualifies Republican office holders from serving office anymore in Louisiana.
Yeah.
This is that serious, that profoundly disappointing.
Christopher, I got a question. The latest website I have for you is the article you did on the hayride. Is there a better website?
We're in the process right now of building our website for LCAG, Louisiana Citizen Advocacy Group, and as soon as that is done, I will make sure that y'all have all of the information, and we will go from there. But we're very excited about our new group.
Yes, we are.
It's extraordinary the feedback we're getting. I think that people are hungry for leadership. People are hungry for courage, and people are hungry to preserve our freedom. And we need it. We don't need that many. We just need good people with courage. And y'all are two of those people. We need
Christopher,
3 more.
I'd like you to add House Bill number 838 to your list. House Bill number 838. That's the bill that we worked with Garofalo for over a year with Dr. John Merrifield. We worked with former Senator Albert Giller, who's now running for lieutenant governor. We worked with Dr. Robert Little and Dr. Atewood Rice, who is out of Gonzales. We had a big team. Beryl Amity was on the team. Kathy Edmondson was on the team. Your wife was on the team. I mean, we worked hard for this, and it was taken. A staffer leaked it to, I don't know how Lori Schlegel ended up with our bill. She put her own number on it. It's the exact same bill, 10 pages long. No words were changed. And they actually accused Garofalo of stealing our bill, which we had worked on. So please add that to the...
House Bill 838.
Yeah, right.
Yes, I will do that.
And
How long do we have until we go to commercial? Because I want to tell you, I'm going to add 838.
Well,
I want to tell you about one more.
Go ahead and tell us right now.
This is from Dodie Horton, and this is one that absolutely should burn you up. It was a very straightforward 2-page bill that simply would have prohibited any public school teacher or administrator from discussing the teacher's own, quote, gender identity or sexual orientation with any student between kindergarten and 8th grade. Yeah. In other words, you can talk about radical sexual concepts to your grade school students in any public school in Louisiana. That's what the bill said. You'd think every Republican legislator in the entire chamber would support that.
You'd think so.
And it was very warranted and necessary because of all the things we're seeing in the schools and all the radical ideology that we're seeing. And it blew my mind when I read this. I had to read it 3 times to make sure that it was true. I couldn't believe it. It went Republican Representative Lance Harris out of Rapides Parish, Republican Representative Vincent St. Blanc out of St. Mary and St. Martin, and then Republican Representative Barbara Freiberg out of Baton Rouge, and your favorite, number 4, Representative Stephanie Hilferty out of Jefferson and Orleans. Those 4 killed this legislation in the House Education Committee. Harris, who was the chairman, didn't even cast a vote, and St. Blanc, Freiberg, and Hilferty all voted against it. If those Republicans had done their job, it would have passed out of committee and gone to the House floor for a full vote, where it probably would have passed. So as it stands now, there's no statutory law in Louisiana that prohibits a teacher from talking to a 3rd grader about the teacher's views on gender identity, sexual orientation, or all the rest of it, because of these 4 Republicans.
This is Liberty or Lockdown. We'll be back next Thursday at 5 o'clock. This is Christopher Alexander with Liberty or Lockdown. Thank you.